Hello, sportsmen. If you had a chance to go to Newfoundland to catch Atlantic salmon, what do you think that would be like? Well, I'm going to take you there. We're going to catch Atlantic salmon. We're going to see caribou and moose. We're going to monkey around with eels, of all things. They have interesting territory there, interesting animals, and I'm going to show you all about it. You stay tuned. I'm Fred Trost. It's time for the Practical Sportsman.
Through the line again. Oh, he's pulling. There he goes. Okay, let him go. Let him go. Keep it right up.
This waterfall looks like it could be in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, or perhaps a stream in the western Rockies. It's actually on the far eastern seaboard of North America, Newfoundland. The island of Newfoundland has a relatively temperate climate because it's surrounded by water. I can't imagine how this Atlantic salmon made it all the way up these rapids to sit in this pool. In some way, it'll fight its way against the current and go further upstream to spawn. Now, Newfoundland is pronounced by the locals one of two ways, Newfoundland or Newfoundland, but not Newfoundland like we say here in the States. Now, it's Newfoundland. It's a big island with many inlets and harbors of salt water, as well as freshwater streams that tumble into the Atlantic Ocean. The climate's a little different than I expected. The North Atlantic holds winter back somewhat, but after it freezes, the ski season in Newfoundland goes well into April. The first morning, we woke up in the town of Corner Brook. Our host was Larry Dunphy of Dunphy's Landing. He took us down to a local river where fishermen had their commercial catch of eels in live boxes.
Oh, there are big ones in there. I wish I knew if they were electric or not. I don't know if I could grab any. I'd try if they get here near the surface. Boy, I don't know.
I don't know either.
They sure do look like snakes. Oh, here's. I need to get
Sure
my
it's okay
sleeve
to
rolled
do?
up a little bit. Okay, I mean, they're not gonna hurt me, I don't think. I'll find out. Ooh. I'll get one.
To me, this is one of the interesting aspects of traveling around North America, seeing and experiencing things we don't have around home.
I got getting splashed today. They are slippery. Slippery as eels. They're making it through the net. It's a darn good thing they don't bite. They are slippery. Well, this is about as good as I'm going to do on holding an eel. Now you can see they don't bite. You can see the... That's about it. Oh, well, that's the story on eels. They are slippery. They are slimy. They're supposed to be very good eating, though. You guys didn't think I was going to do it, did you?
Well, I not only surprised them, but surprised myself. But we didn't come here to catch eels. We came to this tundra-covered country to experience the catch and release of Atlantic salmon that so many anglers find appealing. Now, it's done with fly rods, and Larry Dunphy took us down to a river named Southwest Brook, one of the many picturesque fly fishing spots in Newfoundland. This was the last day of Atlantic salmon season, the first part of September. The good fishing was all done, but there were still Atlantics in the stream. Now, these Atlantics aren't as prolific as the Pacific salmon, which have been introduced to the Great Lakes. A few Atlantic salmon are planted here, but they don't do as well as the Pacific salmon. Charlie Keenan was with us, Larry, a local friend, A.D., who fishes this stretch of the Southwest Brook quite a bit. We were outfitted with waders and fly tackle. Dry flies with big hackles are preferred. A dry fly floats on the surface, and when a fish takes it, you can see it. Nova Scotia to the west has a lot of famous Atlantic salmon streams, but with increased protection of Atlantics and catch and release fishing mandated, Newfoundland is developing a sport fishery for Atlantics.
Okay, so the fish can be just on the other side.
Just on the other side of the rip head, and you gradually give another couple of inches and work it.
Okay, so you're letting the fly go under the water. I've been
Under. Well, the current is taking it underwater there
Mhm.
because the line's not out fast enough, far enough. You retrieve.
And how many casts, or you gradually
I'm
increase?
gradually increasing
the
so I can
radius
do,
here.
do the area. You watch the fly. Look.
Mm-hmm.
You just hope that something's gonna.
Now, even when the fly is underwater, will you see
Oh yeah,
any ripple on
you'll
the
see
top?
a ripple or you'll see a fin or
Mhm.
white belly.
Larry Dunphy promotes Newfoundland's salmon fishery, and he hopes to have a lodge up soon on a salmon river near Corner Brook.
Okay, now crank it this way.
Yeah.
So I don't fight it with the line.
He wants to go. Keep the rod up and let him go. He's gonna move. Give him more first.
Oh,
Bigger
yes!
than 3 pounds.
Oh, yeah, he is bigger than 3
Yeah.
pounds.
No.
But
Retrieve the line.
Just keep it tight, right?
Yeah, just keep it there.
Now, do I put my hand on the bottom of the spool?
You don't have to. No. Just keep the rod up. Keep it up. That's it. Now don't give too much. If he wants to go, let him go. And if he jumps and he starts to come down, let the rod just go down the tip of your
Okay.
rod.
This is exciting.
Oh yeah, you better believe
You
it.
get a jumper like that, oh, you can see his fin in the water there.
You get a lot of
No?
pressure on there. There's not too much.
Not too much pressure?
No, not too much. Listen, just walk up the river. Just walk
Walk
slow.
up?
He'll come with you. If you don't want to come, let him go. Don't let him. You stop.
Oh!
All right. No,
Not lively, huh? Well, that's 3 jumps we've gotten
right.
out of this one already.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Don't haul him. Don't haul him. Whatever you do, just stop for a second and wait. When he stops, then you walk on again. Okay, let's try it again. Come on up.
Okay.
Slow. Go slow. Just the same as you're walking. You can feel if he's coming. If he stops and he wants to go, you stop.
So we'll want to land him where?
We're gonna beach him right here.
Oh, right up in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
We get him in here in the little cold right here.
Okay.
Slow down. Retrieve your line again.
Oh, he's pulling. There he goes.
Okay, let him go. Let him go. Keep the rod up. When he stops, you reel him back. Reel him back. Come on, give it to him while he's coming. Come on.
You catch these all the time, Eddie, huh?
Right on shore? Yep. If you can get his nose on the sand, just keep coming. That's all. Don't stop.
Don't stop, huh?
Once he starts coming, don't stop. Now, if he stops, you stop. Come on, you're doing good. You're doing good. Come on. He's going back with him. He wants to go back. Just let him go. Let him go. Let him go. Let him go. He's doing great.
This is great.
Hey, man, hey.
Yeah, this is great. This is certainly a different technique for
Oh, some
landing him.
Oh, yeah.
Get up on the sandbars and then back into the bush.
You gotta go up there into the trees in a minute.
Really? I have to go all the way up here?
He's coming.
Come on.
Am I supposed to keep walking? Yeah. Or
Reel some more.
reel some more if he's coming. Reel.
He's coming in.
He's coming. Oh boy. No. Hold on. He's almost there. In 1 or 2 minutes, you'll get to see he's getting tired. Turn belly up. Look.
Okay. Yeah, we're
Hurry
walking
up.
with him.
Walk with him. Go on. He'll come right high and dry.
I had caught some small Atlantic salmon on spinners while caribou hunting in northern Quebec, but never anything like this on fly tackle. Larry gingerly picks it up when it lies still.
Your first landing salmon?
First one.
Yes.
Isn't that beautiful? Congratulations, Fred.
Oh,
Thanks, 80.
oh, wow.
Gotta kiss the first
That
one,
was-
Larry.
Huh?
Gotta kiss the first
Got to kiss the first one?
Here, boy.
Huh? Where do I kiss it?
And where we going? Don't get turned on.
Now, these salmon are revered by sport fishermen like Larry Dunphy. They play them out so they don't struggle while they gingerly remove the hook. Then, sometimes they really take off.
Like you're taking the hook out.
Oh! Off he goes.
Oh, thank you. Well, this salmon was a team effort, coaches and student working together, bringing a beautiful Atlantic salmon to the shore. Al Pitcher is a fisheries officer in Newfoundland. I asked him about his job, what it's like, and who it is that they're mainly after.
Amongst the sport fishermen.
Amongst the sports fishermen, very few violations. It's the person that comes out after the sports fishermen go home and sets his net across the pool, or comes and rakes the pool, jigs the pool.
Jigs the pool, which is
Was throwing out his line and raking it across
jerking
the pool.
it.
That's right.
Yeah,
jerking it.
snagging to us. That's
We had to, ended up being in a physical fight, and in the middle, in a dory out in the ocean with 4 of us in the boat, and they attempted to throw me overboard.
Were you the only officer there?
I had, my partner was in our patrol boat. I had jumped from ours into theirs too.
And they were going to pitch you out in the ocean.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, we managed to get them under control, and
But you had to do that with no sidearms or anything.
no, we didn't have any sidearms, no. We just got them under control and arrested them and brought them into port, and the RCMP took them to jail.
And then what else happened this year?
Well, about a week after that, we seized an illegal salmon net from a poacher, and he shot at us
With rifle?
with a
Shotgun?
shotgun.
Hmm.
And
How'd you handle that?
we continued on our patrol.
I see. Did you apprehend him then later? Or?
No, it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and by the time the RCMP arrived at the scene, the individual had left.
And then what was the last thing that happened?
Well, last week we seized an illegal piece of fishing equipment, and the owner of the boat threatened to stick me with a fish prong,
I mean, like a...
like a pitchfork, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah. And he was rather upset at the time. And I'm sure he regrets even saying it.
Well, a year ago, these officers didn't carry guns, but Al said they were scheduled to get them this year. Their jobs can be dangerous. Larry Dunphy made a connection with a big ski resort in Newfoundland called Marble Mountain. Now, when I say big, it's one whale of a hill well known along the eastern seaboard. Now, one of the helicopters from Marble Mountain took us to the airport when we left, and when we topped the ski hill, we were in Tundra country, which looked far different than the territory down near sea level. We saw caribou, actually quite a few roaming this tundra. It's high country here, very few roads. I don't know how you'd hunt it or sightsee, but from the helicopter, it was fascinating. And this is the animal that Newfoundland is most famous for, the moose. Moose hunting is probably bigger here than deer hunting is in Michigan, if you can imagine that. And we had canned moose for dinner one night. Oh, it was terrific. Now, this bull is running to some open country where we saw quite a few moose. Here are 2 bulls and a cow. It was amazing to me to see caribou and moose living in the same habitat. But the caribou are much smaller, much less meat, and they don't capture the interest of local hunters. Now they all go for the moose, and hopefully someday we'll return for a moose hunt in Newfoundland. Another thing that impressed me with this country is the people. Now, I don't think I've ever been to a place where the locals were more enthusiastic about where they live than Newfoundland. Their taxes are high, which makes Americans howl, but the Newfies seem to take it in stride. They don't want to live anywhere else. And it's not because they all hunt and fish either. They genuinely like Newfoundland. For me, fly fishing for Atlantic salmon is a good excuse to go there. Moose hunting would be a good excuse too. And someday, this winter, I'll show you some shots we got of the ski hill. For anybody who skis, Marble Mountain is a secret that shouldn't be kept. It's absolutely phenomenal. Thanks to Larry Dunphy of Dunphy's Landing, the Department of Fisheries and Oceans, the Department of Wildlife, Air Atlantic, and lots of friendly Newfies, we had a super time. I'm glad I had a chance to discover Newfoundland. It's an island of lots of opportunities for sportsmen.
Tim Major sent us a recipe for hot and sour bass soup. And even though it's summertime, it really does taste good this time of year. Going to make a base out of chicken bouillon, the instant bouillon. And this soup recipe isn't real creamy or, it's not a thick recipe. and going to add a little bit of vinegar for just a little bit of tang.
Well, this is going to be like a Chinese sweet and sour thing, is that?
The vinegar will give it a tang, but won't really be a sweet and sour. Then going to add some peppercorns, and
There's a little bit of the heat.
yeah, that's right. And there's bass, and it's
Bass, let me tell you, bass is one of the most unfavorite fish meats to use. I mean, it
Favorite
really
fish to
is.
catch,
A
but-
lot of, well, yeah, a lot of, no wonder it's catch and release.
that's right. And going to cook the bass in the broth, and then you're going to remove the bass and the peppercorns.
Good. I know the old deal, you throw the bass away.
That's right.
And you eat
Save
the board.
Yes.
Right.
And I'm going to add some canned mushrooms and a little bit of soy sauce and a little bit of garlic. And here's where the hot comes in. Going to use crushed red pepper. Now here you can adjust. If you want it hotter, of course you can add more.
I wonder, seriously, if this helps disguise the flavor of the bass.
It
a
could
little bit.
be.
Because bass, really, it doesn't have a mild, sweet flavor. It can if it's from cold, clear water.
Then I'm going to add just a little bit of flour and water and dribble egg in it at the end.
Well, I wonder what Dr. Garner's going to say about this, whether it's too hot.
My Swedish uncle would say yump and yemeni if you. I'll tell you, it is.
right.
Clear your sinuses, throw away the Dristan, man. You don't need anything else.
But aside from being terribly hot, what are the redeeming characteristics? You can taste the bass.
It's not just hot. It's a very, very spicy dish, but it's almost like potato chips. You start eating this, you say it's too spicy, but you go back for another spoonful, and before it's over, you might eat the whole bowl up.
I think for people who don't like it really spicy, they can just lay back on these little red flecks.
Crushed red pepper, yes.
But you can see that coming in the recipe, and
yeah,
you can lay
sure,
back.
absolutely.
This is the best fish soup. It's not a chowder. It's a fish soup, and it is absolutely stupendous.
Very flavorful.
Mushrooms are great.
And our outdoor headlines this week, the Environmental Protection Agency released its results of a 3-year study of 388 contaminated sites across the United States. These were based on a person eating a half pound of fish from these sites per month over 70 years. The good news was that only 42 sites around the country had PCB and dieldrin levels that could possibly cause an increase of cancer risk of 1 in 10,000 over the average cancer risk. Now compare this to 1 alcoholic drink a day, which increases cancer risk between 10 and 20 per 10,000 over the average cancer risk. Another positive side of the study was the report that 23 other chemicals that were tested, none were found to have levels high enough to cause health concerns for the average person. This means that the water pollution cleanup over the past 20 years has been highly successful. If you're still concerned to minimize your risks down to virtually nothing, small fish have the least amount of chemicals. Fatty fish such as carp, catfish, lake trout, and large salmon have the most. But by skinning, filleting, and removing the fat, you can get rid of most of any potential problem. And baking, broiling, or grilling gets rid of nearly all the remaining fat. An update on the crossbow bill for handicappers that passed the Senate. It's sitting in Tom Alley's House Committee, where there have been mutterings of maybe not being able to get it passed this year. In the current Practical Sportsman magazine, I reprint an article by Detroit News editorial writer Thomas Bray, who feels the environmental crusade is over. Boy, I hope so, because I agree with Bray's attitude that most environmental policy has been panic attacks, reactions to Chicken Littles who say the sky is falling, not policies based on scientific facts. Time Beach, Missouri, for example, was evacuated when they found some dioxin mixed with a dust retardant for dirt roads. That evacuation cost $37 million, and later federal officials said, it really wasn't necessary. Now, we've spent $15 to $20 billion ripping asbestos out of perfectly good school buildings. We spend $10 billion a year scrubbing up industrial sites and dumps, making them clean from all chemicals. Now, much of this, I think, is a waste of precious time and money. I'm glad to see journalists and scientists are coming to their senses on the environment. We have to monitor our planet, to be sure, but I believe we're far better off than the environmental wackos have been telling us we are. That's my opinion, anyway. Blue skies, spectacular scenery, rugged country. I tell you, it's a real treat for us to be able to go to different parts of North America, especially these up north wildlife and fishing heavens like we have here in Newfoundland. Appreciate Larry Dunphy inviting us here, all the hospitality from the Canadian government. Gives us a chance to see what else there is in North America, something to dream about. I hope that's what this program did for you, give you some dreams of places you'd like to go, things you'd like to see. We'll be back next week with the All Michigan Show, so I hope you join me. And even though the weather maybe isn't this nice right now at this time of year in Michigan, get outdoors if you can. It's a great place to be. See you next week. Next week on The Practical Sportsman, we'll take you to Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Now, I wish I could speak with a little more authority and second guess the weather. But at this point, we have a trip planned off Marquette to Stannard Rock. It's a long trip out on Lake Superior to a rocky reef where they catch lake trout casting. Now, the big variable, though, is the weather. If it's good, we should have a spectacular story. If it's bad, well, hey, we'll show you something else next week. At least I can guarantee an award-winning game recipe and helpful information. So join me right here, same time, same station, next week for a brand new edition of The Practical Sportsman.